Have I told you lately that I love you? Could I tell you once again somehow? Have I told you how with all my heart and soul I need you?
Audrey,
Well, darling,
have I told you lately that I love you?
I'm telling
Because I do. And a woman as precious as you, as gentle as you, should be cherished and nurtured,
if I should
treated like a hothouse flower, protected and preserved in the delicate warmth
without
of her own
you anyhow.
humidity.
Huh?
Humidity.
Oh, I'll turn on the fan.
Because when you love a woman,
That I love you,
I mean, when you really love a woman,
well, darling,
that's what you do.
I'm telling.
Because that's what you should do. So will you?
Will I what?
Will you marry me?
I...
Have I told
Till death do us part.
Ian, I...
Audrey.
every
No!
The signal.
No, I need more time.
Azimuth 220. Andromeda.
They're here?
Who's here?
Get the hell out of here.
I have to go. I can't explain.
No, wait. What do you mean?
I'm sorry,
No, take me. I'm the dominant species.
Ian!
Ow!
Ian! Ian!
So I have your word?
Yes.
And you promise?
I said I promised.
Very good. Let's say you had helped someone, and then you swore you would never help that person again.
This is a hypothetical question, right?
All right, Ray, sure.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's say this hypothetical person had not been entirely honest with you. Well, as a matter of fact, he was a pathological liar, but he had helped you, and in so doing, he had not helped you, so to speak.
Do you want to tell me which one of your friends we're talking about here?
Well, I thought we agreed this was a hypothetical situation.
Ah, that bad, huh?
Unfortunately. Now, do you think you could find it in your heart to help him again?
Well, what specifically did this friend of yours do?
Ours.
Ours.
Yes.
Okay, what specifically did this hypothetical friend of ours do that was so bad that I would never help him again?
Well, let's just say that he ruined your vacation. And he caused you to be attacked by Canadian mobsters, which in turn forced you to shoot and explode your car until it was a seething fireball. Hypothetically.
No. No.
There's no room.
No.
Amazing friend you've got, Fraser. I mean, how many guys would run a marathon around the world to raise money for an orphanage in China?
250,000 miles, his feet bleeding, heart fit to burst just to buy some poor little Chinese kids a big screen TV.
And a Dumbo video.
You gotta love a guy who loves Dumbo.
Ian McDonald. Don't tell me this man is here, because if he is, I'm going to take my gun out and I'm going to shoot myself.
Hi, guys. Am I glad to see you?
On second thought, I'm going to shoot him.
Ray, please. You promised.
That was hypothetically.
He needs help.
No. Ray, it will take 10 seconds, and a person's life may depend upon it. Look, Ray, just because someone feels compelled to lie, it doesn't mean that there isn't a grain of truth in there somewhere, and I'm fairly certain that he did intend to go to China.
2 seconds.
All right, thank you. Ian, tell him.
My fiancée has been abducted by aliens. Fine, don't believe me then.
I don't.
telling the truth.
Truth? You don't even know how to spell the word.
T-R-U-T-H.
Do I need to remind you what happened the last time we went for a ride with this clown? We were in a barroom shootout. There was mud up to here, and we were in a massive car chase. And then he stole my car.
Borrowed it.
And he did return it.
Yes, just in enough time for me to blow it up to save his sorry butt. Now, you should have let me strangle him.
It wouldn't have worked. The aliens put a protective force field around me.
Ray, wait. We should at least hear him out.
Why? What good it'll do? He'll only tell us a bunch of lies, and you'll believe him, and the next thing you know, we're going to be driving around in circles, dodging bullets.
See, now that would never would have happened if you let me drive.
Oh, shut up!
You know, Ray, every piece of the puzzle that doesn't fit, it just gets us closer to finding that piece of the puzzle which does.
Well, thank you, Grasshopper, but I have other business to attend to.
You're late. The suspect's heartbeat is probably way too high by now. This thing is useless. Go get me a bucket of ice, a wet towel, and 3 jars of tomato juice. I'll make this guy talk if it's the last thing I do. Go, man, go! There's no time to lose.
Where's my suspect?
He confessed. I sent his file to the state's attorney and put him in holding.
You impersonated a cop.
You certainly weren't doing a very good job.
Oh, all right, that's it. Frazier, this guy's got some serious problems. He's probably skipped bail and is here illegally. I'm gonna arrest him.
Right.
Come on. All right, at the very least, we put him on a bus back to Winnipeg, notify immigration, and we do everybody a favor. He's talking aliens, for God's sake.
Well, I agree he exaggerates, but there may be some truth to what he's saying. Let's take the cut on his forehead, for example.
Oh, he slipped in the bathroom.
I'm not so sure. The presence of minute paint particles, along with the traces of wood in the cut and the abrasion.
Wood.
A cheap particle board would be my guess. And judging from the angle, he made contact with a low-lying piece of furniture, perhaps a dresser.
All right, so he tripped in the bedroom.
Well, now that is possible. But that would be an assumption, which is not altogether different from his exaggerations, if you follow what I'm saying. And if we don't investigate, we will never be certain.
Of course we will.
Never judge a book by its cover, Ray.
Never judge a book by its cover. Nobody says that anymore, Frazier.
My grandmother did.
Oh, I knew she was behind this.
Behind what?
Oh, never mind.
Never mind what?
That your grandmother's behind this.
You make no sense, Ray.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
This guy's a moron.
You won't regret this, Ray.
I already am. Okay, I'm gonna give you my lunch hour. You got 60 minutes of my time to waste, and that's it. Now let's go.
You haven't interrogated me yet.
Don't push your luck. Just unhook yourself from that machine and let's go.
Ray, we're all set up here, shall we? All right. Please state your name.
My name is Ian McDonald.
And what do you do for a living, Ian?
I operate a tourism business out of Ontario. We take Canadians into the United States on sightseeing tours, which is actually where I met Audrey. The minute I saw her, it was magic. Like summer lightning. I knew the minute that I saw her that this was the woman that I would spend the rest of my life.
Yes, I'm sure she was. But before Detective Vecchio changes his mind,
You should have seen her face when I gave her the ring. It was my mother's. The minute I slipped it on her finger, her eyes, they lit up like a kid at Christmas.
Want to get to the point, please?
She has blue eyes, just like my mother.
And out of the blue, she was abducted.
Yes. There was a bright light. I couldn't see a thing. We were on our way to the wedding. We'd stopped off for coffee. Audrey's father, the Doge of Venice, had flown in from Switzerland for the ceremony. The guests are strictly A-list. Strictly. Clint, Stallone, Sinatra, Bogart,
Look, this
everybody.
is useless, all right? This guy couldn't tell the truth if his life depended on it. Bogart's been dead for 20 years.
Frank Bogart, his younger brother. Big oil man in the Antilles.
All right, look, just give me a blunt object. I'm going to put him out of his misery.
Oh, yeah? Try it. My father-in-law gave me diplomatic immunity.
This is very interesting, Ray.
What?
Well, it would appear that there was a girl.
See?
Shut up.
And although she may not have been abducted by aliens, according to this, she was abducted. Of course, I suppose we could choose to ignore it.
No. Let's call the FBI. I can't wait to see the expression on Agent Ford's face when he gets a load of this wacko.
Yes, you're right. He won't take the wacko seriously either. Although, you might find this interesting.
Oh, it's a bee sting. They were after Bogart. Killer bees, hundreds of them.
Oh, thousands, I'm sure.
I think the stinger's still in there.
It appears to be infected. Great Scott. Turtles.
Turtles. Ow! Police brutality!
I have removed it.
I see.
I expected better of you, sir.
Sit down.
I'm calling the Hague.
Shall we?
As a political prisoner, I demand that you people guarantee my safety under the Geneva Convention.
So what was with the turtles?
Well, there were no turtles, Ray.
Well, I know there were no turtles. What were you doing?
Oh, I was simply trying to distract him so that I could remove this.
A needle. So what is he, on drugs?
I didn't see any signs consistent with prolonged drug usage, a.k.a. track marks. And Ian hardly seems the kind of fellow who needs help to escape from reality. But perhaps we should ask him.
So he can tell us that it's an immunization shot for his honeymoon with the Doge? I don't think so.
Well, in that case, Ray, we will have to ask whoever it is that put this there.
Oh, look, you only got 60 minutes.
Why only 60?
Because that's my lunch hour.
Understood.
Okay, and under no circumstances is that little liar going to set foot in my car.
All right, we'll take my car.
You have a car.
Yes, I have a car. Well, what do you think? It's on loan from NASA. They were having financial difficulty with their space shuttle program, and they were having a fire sale.
Well, it's very roomy.
Do you mind? There's a draft. It's very bad for the lumbago.
No, not at all.
Oh, excuse me.
Certainly. These your A-list clients?
Hey, just because a person is old doesn't mean they can't have an open mind and a desire to explore the unknown. Besides, compound interest, a person's net worth by age 65 is a remarkable thing. Ray Power! Do well to remember that.
Who needs Myrtle Beach when you have the opportunity of a lifetime? We took one look at this brochure and said to ourselves, if we walk to the market instead of taking a taxi, eat a little less on Friday, buy wholesale, we can have this.
Why sit home watching Donahue and hear about someone else's sightings when you have a chance to get off the couch and see it for yourself?
May I?
Certainly.
Thank you.
A close encounter. It's guaranteed in the brochure.
There are all kinds of close encounters.
So it would appear.
Sea Base 24, home of Hangar 57, the U.S. government's top secret UFO intelligence operation. Tour the base, meet the aliens, take a ride on a real flying saucer. You're actually charging money for this?
With a money-back guarantee.
It's a line of bull.
The best part is the Skywatch.
Hundreds of spaceships from every galaxy gather around in an interplanetary display of precision flying.
Norman flew during the war.
Now, dear.
And our son's a pilot. It's been a long time since I've seen him.
Well, he's probably busy.
I miss him.
What a nice doggy.
Well, he's a wolf, actually. And he's on a diet. That's enough.
Nice piece of fried chicken, Mr. Glassman.
It gives me heartburn.
I told you should have made boiled. Rump roast, honey.
Allergic.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you look to the left, you'll notice we're passing through Jackson. In 1983, I myself personally witnessed a spaceship suck the milk out of an entire herd of cows. Moo. Okay, gang. We meet in the mission room for a briefing at 1500 hours. That's 3 o'clock for those of you not yet on space time.
He's such a nice boy. I love his dog.
Space-time fellow travelers.
Yeah, ufologists. Hundreds, thousands. They all come here. This is like the Woodstock of psychic fairs. This place is famous, the Constellation. This is where Mick stays in nostalgia traveling and where Muhammad Ali and George Foreman had their secret meeting before the fight. But you didn't hear that from me, okay? And this, of course, is where I met Audrey.
This is where you and Audrey had coffee.
Hey, my fiancée you're talking about, pal.
Oh, forgive me.
God, it was terrible. When the aliens ripped her out of my arms, I fought like a wild man, but what are you going to say to a spaceman when he's got a laser nerve disruptor pointed at your head?
Beam me up?
Hey, listen, pal. I've had about enough of you, all right? Why don't you just keep your sarcasm to yourself and your mind and your job? I'm talking about the woman I love here.
Okay.
All right, now look, it's a real disaster area in there, so just keep your cool. I wanted to preserve the integrity of the crime scene. Come on.
He's not alone. Continue surveillance. Don't let them out of your sight.
Right here. I'm telling you, there was blood everywhere. The walls, the ceilings, rivers of it.
Well, you know, Ian, ordinarily I am inclined to believe you, but even if this room had been scoured clean, there should be a crack in the finish, and the particle board would have soaked up traces of blood. This dresser has obviously been replaced. Excuse me. That could be evidence.
Oh.
Hopeless.
Yeah, give me a taxi. Chicago? Chicago. I know it's 60 miles. I know it's a long trip. Yes, I have money. Tomorrow.
Kicked in?
Right off its hinges. They must have used their anti-gravity boots.
Yeah, and they took the yellow pages, too.
The dresser has been replaced. The door jam's been repaired and painted.
I'm not listening, because every time I listen, he says something stupid and you back him up.
Damn aliens took my stuff. Blood punk stereo closet full of Versace. Yeah, you would think that these higher life forms would have a more developed sense of ethics. Maybe they were bad aliens.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, could you perhaps tell me if you saw anyone going into room 6 within the last...
15 and a half hours.
15 and a half hours?
Yep.
Could you possibly describe them to me?
Yep.
Do you think you could describe them to me now?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me guess. CIA, right?
No. Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Constable Benton Fraser.
Bob. Where's your horse?
Well, I don't have one. I have a wolf, if that will help you any.
You ride him?
No, he's deaf.
Two guys pulled up in a Ford Explorer around 6 a.m., I guess. I was waiting for the primer to dry and went to get a cup of coffee. Couldn't have been gone, 20 minutes. Came back. Those fellows were gone, nothing missing. Why make a fuss?
Finally, a reasonable explanation. Are you the owner?
No.
Are you the caretaker?
No.
What do you do?
I build ships. When that baby's finished, she'll be an exact replica.
An exact replica of...
The one in my basement.
Oh, thank you kindly.
I am so glad we asked.
What are you guys doing? That is a material witness. Put him in protective custody. Okay. 2 aliens in a Ford Bronco. Simple explanation. They're exerting mind control of the Ford Motor Company and using them to cover their tracks.
How do I get out of this town?
Left at the corner.
Well, I don't have a car.
Then you have a problem.
You have no idea. Is there a car rental agency?
Apollo 13 Rentals.
How about a bus?
Last one went through an hour ago.
Does the space shuttle fly over anytime soon?
Ask Bob.
I'd rather gouge my eyes out with a dull spoon. No, it's just an expression. Mind control over the Ford Motor Company. What's the matter with you?
Well, you know, Ray, on the surface it does appear to be slightly
Look, Fraser, we are talking to a man who lies with a skill equal only to used car salesmen and presidents.
Thank you.
Ray, if you ignore the facts, you ignore the truth. Now, the fact is we have a witness who can corroborate that there was strange activity in Ian's room this morning.
Yeah, and I bet you if we ask him who killed Kennedy and where Jimmy Hop is, he'd probably tell us little green men in his basement did it.
No, that was the mob.
All right, now look, if you can get one truth to come out of his mouth, I'll stay, but that's the best I can do.
Fair enough.
All right. Now, what about food? Can you manage that?
Try the bar.
Thank you kindly.
Okay, you guys got however long it takes for me to chomp down a burger.
You guys are gonna love this place. It's 4-star. They have the best pickled pork in the tri-state area.
Friend of yours?
Security.
Actually, Ian, I believe that the tri-state area consists of New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut.
Oh, but they come from there
Ian?
and from everywhere else to eat here. Yeah.
Your group is waiting.
Oh, okay. Can you load them on the bus and just give them some of those maps to the aliens' homes? Thanks a lot. Isn't she great?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is it. This is where Audrey and I had our engagement party. Quite the shindig, I'll tell you.
Is there anyone you recognize from last night?
You know, it's hard to say. I mean, all I could see was Audrey.
Well, there probably were other witnesses, Ian.
Yeah, well, maybe we should ask the space lady here. She might know something. Excuse me, you got anything other than the Skywatch burger?
You're not from around here, are you?
Not unless there are aliens who look like second-generation immigrants.
Hey, I recognize you. You were behind the bar last night.
Yeah, and the night before that, and the one before that. Haven't seen you here before.
No, ma'am. I'm from the Northwest Territories. Now, is it possible that if my friend recognizes you from last night, that you might also recognize him from last night?
Why don't you ask him?
Oh, that's a long story.
Yeah, sure, he was here last night.
What?
Well, the space lady was just saying.
I heard, okay?
Yeah, he sat right there, actually. You were here with Audrey McKenna, right?
Yes, Audrey. Audrey McKenna.
Yeah, you had a beer and she had 2 Cosmopolitans. Audrey never has more than one. It's been a good night.
Wait, you actually saw this man with the woman that he said he was with, and she was actually being nice to him?
He's a quick one.
Well, ordinarily, yes. Can you tell us where we could find this Audrey McKenna?
She's not a townie. Doesn't talk much about herself or her work, which probably means she works on the base.
She works at the base? Audrey works at the base?
And this fact never came up? I've given you my lunch hour. I've come all the way out here to Nutsville, USA to check out your cockamamie story and canvass suspected aliens, only to have the space lady here tell me that Audrey McKenna may or may not work at a base of which you know nothing about?
I knew everything I needed to know about her, okay?
Like what?
Like the important stuff. Like who she was inside. I didn't have to ask her a bunch of stupid questions. I took one look at her and I knew who she was. In here. I always have.
God, that's beautiful.
Thanks.
How long did you know her?
I don't know. I came in here last night at about 10 o'clock and she came in at about 10:30.
You met her last night?
It only takes a moment. My mother used to say that.
I thought it was Barbara Streisand.
Oh, you know my mother? Hey, her next album is going to be a killer.
All right, that's it. Come on, I'm going home.
No, please. I made a promise.
Yeah, and she said yes, and then you gave her a ring, and her eyes lit up like it was Christmas, and you all lived happily ever after.
I made a promise to my mother. She gave me that ring before she died. She told me to give it to the one woman that I truly love and care for. I told her that I'd give it to the woman that I would be faithful to for the rest of my life. Not like my father. Please, you gotta help me. I have to find her.
We should go to the base.
U.S. Army base.
Yes.
Frazier, the Army does not like civilians snooping around their backyard, okay? They tend to respond with heavy ordnance.
No problem. We'll show them the pass I got from Desert Storm.
Excuse me, ma'am. Could you direct us to the base?
Yeah, make a left up the road. It's about 5 miles.
Thank you. He made a promise, Ray.